What were the first forms of value exchange and how old is money? Money has existed in some form throughout human history for at least the last 5,000 years. Most historians concur that a system of bartering was probably in place prior to that. A farmer might trade a bushel of wheat for a pair of shoes from a shoemaker as an example of a direct exchange of products and services. The beginning of exchange, trading, and commodity currencies. People used to barter at first. The act of bartering involves exchanging one item or service for another. One might term it an even exchange if they swap a bag of beans for a bag of rice, for instance, or if they replace a wagon wheel in exchange for a blanket and some coffee. Lack of a set exchange rate was one of the main issues with the barter system. What would transpire if the parties couldn't agree that the products or services being exchanged were of equal value, or if the party in need of goods or services possessed nothing the party in possession desired? No deal. Commodity money was created by humans to address this issue. A commodity is a necessary good that practically everyone in a community uses. In the past, commodities like salt, tea, tobacco, animals, and crops were used as money since they were viewed as necessities. But using commodities as currency presented challenges. Carrying cumbersome salt bags or pulling stubborn oxen around, for example, could be logistical or practical disasters. The use of commodities for trade created additional issues because many of them were difficult to store and were also highly perishable. If the service involved in the commodity trade fell short of expectations, disagreements often surfaced, realistic or not. Money in coins and paper. When did paper money take the place of coins? The Chinese switched from using coins to paper money around 700 CE. By the time the Venetian merchant, explorer, and author Marco Polo visited China in roughly 1271 CE, the Emperor of China had a stronghold on both the money supply and its numerous denominations. Marco Polo traveled through Asia along the Silk Road between 1271 and 1295 CE. Money first made of metal appeared circa 5000 BC. The Lydians were the first Westerners to produce coinage by 700 BC. Metal was utilized because it was widely accessible, simple to work with, and recyclable. Soon, nations started issuing their own collections of coins with distinct values. Coins were assigned a set value, making it simpler for individuals to compare the prices of goods they sought. In China, where the issuance of paper money started to become widespread around 960 AD, some of the earliest paper money is known to exist. Reproduction of cash. Commodity money became representative money with the advent of paper money and non-precious coinage. This meant that the material from which money was formed no longer needed to have high worth. A government or bank guaranteed representative money by promising to exchange it for a specific quantity of silver or gold. For instance, it used to be guaranteed that a pound of sterling silver could be exchanged for an old British pound note, often known as pound sterling. The vast majority of currencies were founded on representational money that used the gold standard for most of the 19th and early 20th centuries. Fiat currency. Fiat money has now taken the place of representative money. The Latin word for let it be done is fiat. The value of money is now determined by government fiat or decree, ushering in the era of enforceable legal tender. As a result, it is now unlawful to accept anything other than legal tender money as payment. The United States dollar sign's history. It's unclear where the money sign first appeared. The money sign can be traced by several historians to the P symbol for pesos, piastres, or pieces of 8 from either Mexico or Spain. The analysis of antique manuscripts reveals that the S progressively evolved into being written above the P and taking on the appearance of the dollar sign. Currency wars development. The ability for international trade to increase after Europe switched to paper money. The first currency market was established when banks and the affluent began purchasing foreign currencies. The value of a nation's currency and, consequently, that nation's capacity to trade on an increasingly global market were both influenced by the stability of a particular monarchy or government. Competition among nations frequently resulted in currency wars, in which contending nations sought to alter the value of the rival's currency by raising it and making the enemy's goods prohibitively expensive, lowering it and lowering the enemy's purchasing power and ability to finance a war, or eradicating it entirely. American money facts. Wampum was perhaps the first type of money used in America. Wampum beads, which were created from shell beads and strung in beautiful designs, were used by indigenous people to commemorate important occasions in their life, in addition to serving as currency. The first paper currency of the United States was introduced on March 10, 1862. On March 17, 1862, the denominations of $5, $10, and $20 were recognized as legal money. In 1955, the phrase "In God We Trust" became a legal requirement to appear on every money, on dollar silver certificates, and all Federal Reserve notes dating back to Series 1963. It first appeared on paper money in 1957. Internet banking. In an effort to computerize the banking sector, Bank of America launched IRMA as a project. IRMA included MICR magnetic ink character recognition. MICR made it possible for computers to read the unique codes at the bottom of checks, enabling computerized check transaction tracking and accounting. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency that was created by an unidentified person or group of persons who went by the moniker Satoshi Nakamoto and was made available as open-source software in 2009. Bitcoins are virtual assets that may be used to buy goods, services, and other currencies. They are obtained through the mining process to protect financial transactions, restrict the production of new units, and confirm the transfer of assets. They use strong cryptography. Blockchains are essentially digital ledgers of these transactions. Each block in the chain includes transaction information, a timestamp, and a cryptographic hash of the one before it. Blockchains are resistant to data alteration by design. More than 1,600 different cryptocurrencies were available online as of August 19, 2018. And that figure is still rising. American money facts. Wampum was perhaps the first type of money used in America. Wampum beads, which were created from shell beads and strung in beautiful designs, were used by indigenous people to commemorate important occasions in their life, in addition to serving as currency. The first paper currency of the United States was introduced on March 10, 1862. On March 17, 1862, the denominations of $5, $10, and $20 were recognized as legal money. In 1955, the phrase "In God We Trust" became a legal requirement to appear on every money, on dollar silver certificates, and all Federal Reserve notes dating back to Series 1963.